How to apply Dara's Temp program, a cleanup of whole body hyperthermia research data. This is by me, Dara Farhadi. I'm part of the Raison lab at the University of Arizona. Okay, so the video is going to be laid out like this. First, I'll discuss the background information and our objective. Second, I'll describe what we need before we begin. Third, I'll actually show how to apply the program, the steps, what to do, where to put it, etc. 4, I'll do some troubleshooting. 5, I'll display on this PowerPoint the written steps. It's a list of steps of how to use this program. It's not as detailed as when I will show you guys, but it is a list for those that want a kind of written visual. 6, I'll show you guys my contact information if you guys have any problems or need any or have any questions. And 7, I'll do the acknowledgments and thank you. So let's begin. First, the background info and objective. As many of you may know, I would assume those that are using this program already understand the theory behind our research, the whole body hyperthermia research, as a way of an alternative treatment for major depression. So hyperthermia, of course, you would assume has much to do about temperature, the core body temperature. And so thus, this is where we come in. So a patient is placed in the box, as you may know. They get heated, they get monitored, and after they're done, they're asked to kind of ingest a pill that records their core body temperatures. What's special about this pill is that it doesn't record it, say, like clockwork. It doesn't do it every 5 seconds. Instead, it does it at random intervals, meaning it has a recording for every minute, but how many temperature recordings per minute is different for every minute. And so I may have confused you. I'll give you an example. So say first minute it records 5 different body temperatures. Then the next minute it records, say, 3. Then minute after that it records 1. Minute after that 15. And so it's random in that sense. This makes our job a little bit more difficult, but with this program we're able to do our job efficiently and easier. One thing to note is that the strapped-on device that the patients use to pick up the pills recordings isn't always perfect. So I believe it runs on battery. Sometimes that may run out, the battery juice may run out. Sometimes the patients take a shower, so they take off the device, and therefore we lose data. It comes as errors or zeros. Sometimes when they go to bed, they either take off the device. For various reasons, they may take off the device, or the device may not record, etc., etc. So when you see the data, and I'll show you, it's not a surprise to see some zeros or errors. But we just have to deal with that, and we just do with what we have. The objective of this program is to calculate the average temperature for each minute of a 24-hour period. And what I mean by that is we need to find a 24-hour period of data, of temperatures, and we need to calculate for every minute in that 24-hour an average temperature. And when we do this, we want to kind of choose the best 24-hour period, and by best I mean the 24-hour period with the most data, most temperature recording. So if the patient goes to bed and the device isn't worn or anything, or if we have errors or zeros, we want to minimize the errors and zeros. And I'll show that too. So just keep in mind all this background. It'll become clear when we actually do the whole thing. And then the second objective is to get all those averages, all of those minutes within a 24-hour period, and just match it with the correct minute and date. And that part isn't too bad. before we begin, there are two kind of modalities that you should keep in mind before we begin. The first is, I guess what I cleverly came up is with patience for your patients. So this program is huge. It's large, takes up a lot of space, and therefore it takes a long time for computers to kind of process it. So when you're going through these steps, a big thing that you need to remember is that to be patient. And when I mean patience for your patients, think of maybe this program as your patient. Or if you're a doctor, it's good to know for the patient that a doctor has patience and is willing to listen, understand all the problems. So when we're doing this program, when you submit a command, or you right click, or you paste, mostly pasting, or you open a data, be patient. If you don't see anything happening, don't jump to conclusions that the computer didn't register what you were asking for. Just wait. This is something I learned the hard way, and you'll see how long, when I'm doing this, you'll see I'll have a stopwatch that sees how long it actually takes, and you guys can go based off that. It really depends on your computer, how long programs open, how long commands are completed. So if you have an old one, expect longer. If you have a new one, expect shorter. If you have a new one and it's taking really long time, don't be surprised. Whatever's going on your computer, the more tasks your computer is doing, the longer it should take. So that being said, the second modality is to check and go. Like I said, this kind of can take a while, this program, but it is really efficient rather than doing it by hand. Just when you're going through the steps, make sure you check before you proceed to the next step. Otherwise, you're wasting a lot of time if the step before was done incorrectly. So just check, make sure everything that you asked for the computer to do happened and is correct. If not, figure out what's wrong, fix it maybe, or start over. It depends on you. But if you follow these steps and most of the troubleshooting steps, you should be fine. That being said, what you do need is Microsoft Excel, of course. Dara's program, it's a Microsoft Excel file. So here I named it official WBH temp data template. The reason why it's a long name is because I had to do a lot of saving this template and fixing it, so that's its name. Depending on where you're doing it or how you save it, it may be under a different name, but this is the name that I chose. So that's the program. It's a huge program. And then another thing you need is the initial data. So the initial data right here is basically what you're given, is what the pill records. Basically, it's just going to be a whole bunch of dates and times and the corresponding temperatures, and it's going to be kind of random, and all your objective is to clean that up. And then the second thing you need is patience. Like I explained earlier, that's a big one. Alright, so let's apply. Before we begin, I want to let you know that you have the ability, the good thing about video is that you have the ability to pause, rewind, rewatch, do whatever you want, go through the steps. So feel free to do this whenever you want. After I do the program, I will show the list of steps written down. And yeah. Also, when I'm doing this program, I have a couple of techniques and kind of shortcuts that I use that would be really handy if you learned, if you understood, but it's not necessary. So computer key shortcuts, I mean that by, instead of scrolling all the way down Excel, you can press Command, hold Command and then press the down key, or going up, hold Command, press the up key, etc. And there are other shortcuts too, but I'll try to explain them while I'm doing it. And second, I use Excel has a couple of tools One is that it marks, say, I can choose, I want all the temperatures below 35 degrees Celsius. I can have Excel actually mark those temperatures and highlight them as red, so I can easily distinguish between other temperatures. All right, so let's start. Here's my stopwatch right here. I'm going to press start, and the first step for this program is to open Excel and your initial data. So here's my initial data. I had it on my desktop. Yours could be somewhere else, so I'm going to open it. And this shouldn't take long. Okay, there you go. So let me scroll all the way up. Move this. Alright, so depending on how you get it, this is how we get it. You have here your date time, so here it's July 19, 2013, 12:57 and 30 seconds. Okay. The next one is the same time, except for now it's 34 seconds. And so you'll see, as I mentioned, the variability. So here you can see at 12:57 there are 3 temperatures recorded, 12:58 there's 4. So what we first want to do is kind of arrange our data so it's easier for us to see. So you click on the C, right click, press cut. Those are your temperatures. These are in Celsius. I'm cutting them and then I'm pasting them. I right click on B and I paste them here. Okay, so now I have the date time next to the temperature, so that this corresponds to this, this with this, etc., etc. This has no relevance, just don't worry about that. It's the serial number of the pill. These 2 rows is all we care about. Okay? So once you do that, the best thing to do now is to first find your best 24 hours. Okay? You'll see, so here we're starting at 7:19 at 12:57. And if I scroll down, you'll see that we have tons and tons of data. It goes all the way to July 21st. And you can see these zeros, we don't want that. So it has a lot of data. Now you have to find the best 24 hours. Of course, from July 19th to July 21st, that would be 19, 20, 20. That's 3 days. You just want 24 hours, so 1 day worth of data. What I do is I click on the B, I go to Conditional Formatting, I go to Highlight Cell Rules, and the less than, and I type in 35. And then I press OK. So what that does is any temperatures below 35 degrees, it highlights it red. If you don't know, 35 degrees is pretty much the lowest normal body temperature a human can have. So we don't really want anything lower than that, because that's probably, see, the person probably ingested the pill, so it's still going down their throat and etc. You know, we really want their core body temperature, and anything really above 35 is where we know they have a core body temperature accurate reading. So I do that, and then again I click on the B. Once again I do conditional. I go less than again. This time instead of cell value, I click errors, and then I press OK. Now it highlights, if there is any errors as well. So whenever you see red, that means that's not good. You don't really want that data. So as we scroll down, you'll see more red. When you scroll, a few reds. Like I said, the device isn't perfect. There's zeros, must not have picked up. Okay. So now we have to find the best 24 hours. It only seems right to start with the first temperature. This is at 7:19 at 13:40. Okay, that's the time. So it only seems likely that you would, to have 24 hours, you go to 7:20, same time, 13:40. That's 24 hours. go down 720, and you'll see, you'll get an idea of how much of the data is not good. You keep going, keep going. I'm doing this kind of rushed. Basically, you're combing through it. You're looking to see, okay, how much of my data is not good. This is also important too. See this row where it says new file? This kind of explains that there's a break in time, usually. So here it was at 7 o'clock, then it stopped. Somehow there was a break for an hour and 30. Might have been a shower or something like that. So we go all the way until 1340. Okay. Here's 1340. Alright, I'm going to put a Z right here as a marker, just so that I can find it easily. One thing to mention is that that's not the only 24-hour period you can choose from. There are an infinite amount, but you're looking for possibly the most. So let's see. Let's see where all this temperature stuff kind of ends, because the rest is 0. So the temperature stops recording, the pill stops recording around 2137. So now if we start from 2137 and then go up back to, that was 2137 of July 20th. And go all the way back, keeping an eye on how many zeros, how many red boxes you see. Go all the way back to 2136. 2136 or 37 of the day before. So that's another 24 hours. Before I recorded this video, I kind of decided that this 24 hours from 2136 to 2136, so from July 19th to July 20th at 2136, that's the best amount of data that you can have. When you do this, you'll be weighing the pros and cons, looking at the number of red boxes, the number of breaks, etc. So just to save time, I already decided that this is what we want from here all the way down to 21. Oh, not here. All the way down to 21 here. So the reason why I put the Z's is because now if I go in the Z column, I hold down Command and then press down, I have here at the top 2136 on July 19th, and then when I press Command down, I have 2137 on July 20th. So that's our 24-hour period. Okay, we've got that. Now we need to, with these Z's, we've marked it technically, you could say, and now we need to clean for any obstructions. And by obstructions, I mean, remember that this yellow break, this is considered an obstruction. You really want to avoid these things. If they're within your 24 hours, it can really mess everything up. So what you want to do is first check to see if it is in your 24-hour period, and it looks like it is. So what you do to find them really quickly is click on the B column anywhere at temperature, and then hold Command and press up or down, and you'll see. So when you press, so the Command and arrow function just basically automatically takes you to the top of anything. So if I press, right now at the very top of Excel, if I press Command down, it takes us to the next break, this right here. So we don't want it, we click on the horizontal number right here, right click on it, and then press delete. And there it goes away. Now again, press down Command down, and and you'll see there's not much left. It's all gone. So we've cleared the obstructions. We have Z to Z. You see right here, 21, 21. Z to Z, we have our 24 hours, so now we can go on to the next step, which is, get ready. And if you want, you can always save your data so that you don't lose anything. So the next step is opening the temp template. Like I said, this requires a lot of patience. This is a huge file, so when you open it, just like that, that's all you need to do. Okay? And I'm going to start the timer just so that we can see how long it actually takes on my computer for this thing to open. When you open it, you double click on the file. That's all you need to do. Don't touch anything. Don't do anything else while you're waiting for this to open. Don't go on the internet. The less busy your computer is, the faster it opens and the less confused it gets. Because if you start doing other things, if you start now clicking on this, double clicking on everything, then the whole program just crashes, Excel closes, it's forced to close, and then you have to start all the way over. Especially when you're in the middle of arranging all your data, cleaning it up, and you start getting impatient, and it just closes on you without even saving, that's when it really sucks. So to avoid loss of time, it's better to just wait, be patient, and then continue on. Okay, so here it is. Don't let this fool you. Just because now you see some stuff doesn't mean that it's done loading. One thing to check if it is done is to just once click somewhere on Excel. So if you're clicking and this blue box is appearing wherever you click pretty quickly, then your program loaded pretty well. So that took less than 4 minutes, which is pretty good. A lot better than I thought. Okay. So now let's continue. So here's the program. Let me just point out a couple of things before we start. Here is the date/time column. This is where you're going to put all the dates and all the times. This is temp in C, meaning temp in Celsius. This is where you input all the temperatures in Celsius. Here is day, hour, minute. So this is going to be the day for this specific date/time. This is going to be the hour for this specific date/time. The minute for this period. Okay. Here is right now it's 10000. This is going to be changed into the actual date of this number, and then this is going to be this date plus 1. So it doesn't really matter too much that you figure out or know what every single thing does, but it does help if something does go wrong. So here at the top you'll see this is 0, so this is going to be hour 0, minute 0, or day 0, hour 0, minute 0. Just like here, day, hour, minute. And so these are already filled in. As I scroll to the right, you can see it's still hour 0 and day 0, but the minutes are increasing, and it just continues on until, say, the next hour. So this is day 0, hour 1, minute 7. So this program, the reason why it's so big is because this continues on all the way for 2 days. So here it's day 1, it's actually day 2 because we started on day 0, hour 23, minute 59. So that's 2 days of recording every minute, okay? So this is, now we're back at the top left corner of this program. And then here where you see all these green triangles, These are all formulas. So what this formula does is it says, okay, at hour or at day 0, hour 0, and minute 0, if there is a value here that corresponds, so if this is 0, 0, 0, and it has a temperature value right here, it'll put that temperature value right here. So let's do another example. Say over here, if right here it was 0, 0, 0, 3, then over here it would record at 0, 0, 3, it would record this temperature. Okay, so now if you imagine this column goes down quite a bit. Let me scroll back up, and then horizontally it goes quite a bit. And each one of these boxes has this long code. You see, these colored boxes show what the code is, using, which boxes it's using. So each box is using that code. Basically, this is a huge file. All right. So now, let's go on to the next step. Step 5 is to copy our 24-hour data and paste it into here, okay? So let me go back to our initial data, is right here. We have it marked with these Z's. Here's the bottom Z, Command up. Here's the top Z. So we want to copy this. Now to highlight, what I do is I hold down Shift, I hold down Command, and then I press down. And so what it does is it takes me all the way to the very bottom. That's not really what I want. So what you can do is you can hold Shift and then go up and do it this way. Or, okay, here at Z, we don't really want anything else below this. So I'll just highlight everything below it and clear its contents. There you go. And then what I can do is now I can hold Shift, now hold Command, go all the way down. That's all we need. Then now hold Shift and press the left arrow. That's all our data. Easy. So copy it, right-click, copy. This may take time. You wait until you see these dashed dotted lines flashing. You go back to the program, the hefty program. You go here. You right-click, you click Paste. Once again, you need to be patient. Okay, that didn't take very long at all. 2 minutes. Again, to just double check if it's ready to go. I clicked on one of the boxes on Excel, and as you can see, the blue box didn't highlight it immediately, so it's still loading. But before we start doing things, I want you to notice that, see here, it automatically filled. We had July 19th, 2013 at 21:36, so it changed this to the day is 19, the hour is 21, the minute is 36. Okay, so now we're good. And now these also changed. They changed to 19, and now it just starts from 19 at 00, hour 0, minute 0 is basically 12 a.m. So it's 12 a.m., midnight on the 19th. Then if you just go on, you'll see the rest. So you'll see this also filled up with this date, and this is just 19 plus 1 is 20, so the next date. Alright, so now you have everything set. Now we're on step 7, so all you have to do now is just make sure everything is clear. You can do this yourself by just scrolling through, combing through, and making sure you don't have any breaks. And this is again the date and the time. The date and the temperature. And pretty much it. So now at the very bottom of this program, when you hit Command down and hit it once again, You'll see it. This is basically the fruit. So here I wrote averages, and here is the date. Okay. Wow, actually, already with the program it should be on 7/19. But when you do it yourself, if you have a different date, you need to change it yourself by clicking up here, changing the date, say whatever it is, and then you'll see when you press enter. Okay, so here you have the averages, and this goes horizontally. So what each one of these boxes does is it takes the everything above it, and takes an average of it. And basically it spits it out down here. So if you remember, our first temperature was on the 19th at 21:36. So if we scroll all the way to 21:36, you should see, here you go. At 21:36, the average temperature was 36.6. At the next minute, the average is this, and so on and so forth. Okay? So everything looks good. Doesn't seem to be any errors. You want to make sure that this is kind of now the troubleshooting part. You want to make sure now, as I go all the way to the very top, that sometimes, say if the first date is, for instance, July 31st, then this program is, it's designed to just add one day. Of course, we don't have a July 32nd. So what you would need to do is actually manually change this to, say, August 1st. That's one troubleshoot that can cause problems. Just make sure that if you're at the end of the month, change this to the next month. The second troubleshoot is, like I said, if you remember that yellow line, that break that was in the other initial data, if you keep that in and then you paste it, you will get an error everywhere. So you want to make sure that's deleted before you put this into the official, because if you put it into the official and then you want to delete it, everything will go crazy. It will take a lot longer. And finally, at the very bottom, like I showed you, you just want to make sure everything is, this is normal to see, division by 0. Basically, it's an error. It means you're dividing nothing by nothing, which is an error. And that's okay, because you don't have any data at, 12:26, so midnight, 26 minutes after midnight. Your first data actually starts where I showed you at 21:36. And then it keeps going, see? And if you do see divisions by 0 here and here, it just tells you that at 2:36 you didn't have any temperature. So basically there isn't any temperature there, okay? So that's step 7. Step 8 is to change the date and time. So already in this program, I had it at 7:19 conveniently, but say if the date was, right now we'll change it to, say it was June 20th, well, June 1st, okay? Your data is for June 1st. Ours is July 19th. Say it was June 1st. What you need to do is change it to June 1st, press enter, go to the next box over right here. This is at the very end, by the way, in column H and I. So column H, you change it to your date, and column I, you change it to your date as well, June 1st. Press enter, there you go. Now the rest of the data is still July 19th, so what you need to do is highlight these two, as you see I just did, and then click and hold this blue box, and then now you start dragging it all the way. Basically all you need to do is just hold it down and drag it all the way to the very end. I won't do that right now. And you'll see everything now changes to June 1st. So it goes in order. June 1st, 2:37, at 2:38, at 2:39, at 2:40, etc. So let me click undo because we're not at June 1st. We're on July 19th. Alright. So that's step 8. Step 9 now is to actually take our data and put it somewhere else. So now I'm back to the initial data template. I'm going to put here date /time. You can really copy and paste this anywhere you want, and then I'm going to put average right here. If it types average temp. Okay. All right. So now we go back to our program. We click on the first date. You hold Shift, then you hold Command, then you press the right arrow. That highlights. So that highlights all of the dates. Right-click, press Copy, then go to wherever you want to put all the dates. Right-click again. This time, click on Paste Special. These are dates, so all you really need to do is transpose. That's all you need to do. Click OK. So now, if you see all these number signs, don't fret. It's just that this column isn't big enough. So you just move the column over, and now you have all your dates here. Now you do the same thing with your temperatures. You hold Shift. Of course, here it says divide by 0. The rest of yours is all the way over. So you hold Shift, hold Command, and then press the right arrow. And that should highlight all of the temperatures. Again, click Copy. You should see the flashing dashes. Then here, right-click, click Paste Special. This time, you just want the values, and you want to transpose it. So transpose means it goes from horizontal to vertical, and values, it just records the values. Again, don't fret that there's division by 0. If you scroll down almost immediately, you should see eventually your temperatures. And this is what you want. So now again, you can go to the top. You can click on click on Conditional Formatting. This is kind of like an Excel tool. Click on less than, then click on errors. Okay. Now it highlights all the errors for you. Easy. Now step 16 and 17, we're almost done, is to remove all the errors. So you'll see here, let me scroll up. Here at where we started is where the error stops. I'm going to put a 0 as a marker. And then let me scroll down. So at 7:20:37, here is where the errors start again. We want everything in between the two Z's. So now, first remove the bottom half. Hold Shift, Command down when you highlight both rows. And then go up here, click Clear Contents. You can do it this way, or you can right-click and go Clear Contents. Boom. Now go back to Z, your upper Z. And this is where the errors stop and your temperature begins. Again, highlight, Command Shift up. You don't want to delete the very top row that has your words. So you hold Shift and press down, and it goes down one. And then this time, you right-click, you click Delete, and you say Shift cells up. Press OK. This one takes a little bit longer, but it shouldn't be too long. And there you go. This is all your data. You'll see some errors in between. You don't want to really delete those. But other than that, you're good. Wow, I think it looks like it might have just froze on me. So that's a lesson. See, it froze. Sometimes maybe this can happen. It just freezes on itself. If anything, I would just wait. Don't touch anything. Maybe the computer's doing something. But just as a reminder, that's pretty much it. When you're done with every step, it helps to save. But if you start saving on, what's happening? If you start saving on the huge, the program, it takes a long time to save. So whenever you're doing things on the program, do them fast. And you don't really need to save. Okay, here we go, we're back. So, like I said, if you see these things, you don't need to delete them, and you shouldn't delete them. Just keep them. And that's pretty much it. Then you can again save. And you're all set here. It shows you that it's saving. Alright, let's go back to this. So we just did that. Troubleshooting, like I said, if you see any errors, if the date is incorrect, you're at the end of the month, change it. And if you're rushing, Excel will just quit on you. Like you saw, that it almost quit on me because things weren't working as I was asking them to. So just be patient, let it do its thing, and then continue. Here are the written list of steps. I'll just go through them slowly. You can pause at each slide. Okay. So if you are at this part, it must mean that either you did it correctly and you went through the video, or something's wrong. So go ahead and click pause. Here's my email if you want. It's Dara, Farhadi, @email.arizona.edu. Feel free to email me, and if need be, once you email me, we can talk on the phone and go from there. But other than that, here are my acknowledgments and thank you to Dr. Charles Raison, the PI of our lab, who made this possible, Clemens Jensen, or Jensen, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. He's kind of my advisor, my postdoc that assigned me to this. And finally, Dr. Kristen Beck. So she's not part of the lab, but she's a statistics professor I had before, and she really helped me in developing this program, so I'd like to thank her. And finally, I'd like to thank you, your time, and patience. Thank you for listening to this probably long video, and thank you for considering my program. And if you have any feedback, let me know. I'm really open to it. And this is a film by me, again, Dara Farhadi, Tucson, Arizona, 2014. Thank you.